Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Bad beats. What's beat your bracket? What's busted your ticket? And for all of those, maybe those that entered the NFL Canada Draft Challenge, if you could name the first 15 picks consecutively in round one of the NFL Draft, there's no way you were doing it. But there was some significant bad beats on night one in round one, Moose.
Yeah, there was. And the first was C.J. Stroud. You know, all year it was Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. Who's going to go number one? And then it shifted to Bryce Young 1 and C.J. Stroud 2, and that was pretty locked in. But over the last 4 weeks, we saw a lot of talk about C.J. Stroud's test scores, right, and these new tests, and he's not going to be capable as a starter. So we started hearing Anthony Richardson and Will Levis as potential top 3 draft picks, and we were hearing C.J. Stroud might fall down outside the top 10. Some people even said out of the first round, although that's a little bit crazy. So the sports books, they put the bets together. And the number of bets that came in that said C.J. Stroud outside the top 3 or being the third quarterback or worst picked were through the roof. What did Houston do? Didn't listen to anything. Did exactly what they were going to do all along. Picked C.J. Stroud number 2 and busted everybody's tickets that had C.J. Stroud as the third quarterback picked in the NFL draft.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Should Rick Bowness be in trouble with the Jets ownership for pointing the fingers at the players? I say he shouldn't, because I'm a speak your truth kind of guy.
He might get a talking to, but as long as he's been preaching that message since January internally, why not? I mean, you know, players have to be held accountable. I think players these days in general are way too soft.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. We are live. We got breaking news, Moose, as we open a brand new week. We are live from Ace Casino Airport, Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport. Darren Moose Dupont is with us. You're on your phone. I'm on my phone. I'm telling you, Kevin is here before a live studio audience. Pierre LeBrun from The Athletic and TSN reporting Daryl Sutter has been fired as head coach of the Calgary Flames. Yeah, and Kevin has just fallen off his chair. And I'm bumping my camera here, so hang on. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
sorry. Hey, how do you like us so far? Sorry. Yeah, there we go.
Wow.
Yeah, I had heard that this was a possibility, and there it is. And thank you, Clark, for pointing that out. Oh, boy, we are Atlanta's NHL show. We're live on WQEE radio there. We're live on Game Plus Television all across Canada and 31 U.S. states. Did you hear the Flames fired Daryl Sutter? The whole place just stopped. And I feel like, Darren, I had a direction to go, and we're just cutting across the median and going the other way. Which we're not going to, but how about that?
We don't got enough time today. I mean, we didn't have enough time in the day to get all the things that we wanted to talk about anyways. And now this? I mean,
oh boy.
Monday morning.
Okay. Listen, I have intel on this, which I will get to in a moment. What a day to have Tim Hunter joining us live down here at Ace Casino Airport, Calgary's newest casino. Tim Hunter will be with us for later on in hour one, and Paul Hendricks in hour two, the legendary Leafs reporter. Like you say, so many things went on from the weekend that we could recap, but then it's a Monday breaking news. And listen, because I'm here in Calgary, this is what I know of the firing of Daryl Sutter. Whether it's correct or not, this is what I heard. The fallout from Brad Treliving being let go, however you want to say it, mutually parting ways, the fallout from Daryl Sutter being kept, was a surprise to the owner, Murray Edwards, and whomever the powers that be are with the Calgary Flames. The fallout within the community from the fans, the fallout from the media, the backlash, and to a certain extent from the players that, let's just say a few, weren't big Daryl Sutter fans. I was expecting this news 10 days ago, probably. That's when I first started to hear this, the week that Brad Treliving had been fired. On this Monday, the Calgary Flames open up the week by, according to Pierre LeBrun of TSN and The Athletic, firing Daryl Sutter. That's what I know. The fallout from keeping Daryl after firing Treliving triggered this news here. Mass carnage in Calgary. So what do you think when you hear that?
Yeah, a couple things. The first, coaches and people like Daryl have a short shelf life, but plenty of longevity, if that makes sense. You know, he's obviously a great coach, knows the game really well, knows which buttons to press, and has lots of success. Doesn't mean he's done coaching. But in any locations, they seem to have short shelf lives. You know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. You don't really see those type of, hard coaches that are really tough on people and demand excellence last in any one place for too long, right? It wears people out. You get the best out of people, but it's hard on people for long term. So you got to bounce around. So that's one. But what I really think, too, is that they go down the route of looking for a new GM and starting to maybe have some preliminary conversations with some people who are available. And maybe people want to pick their own coach. Or maybe guys saw what Brad Treliving and Daryl Sutter were going through in the relationship and the position Brad was in and thought, I don't really want to be in that position. And so if you don't think you're going to get your guy, then you really got to look at the whole situation and maybe starting completely clean with a new coach-GM combo.
People just logging in now that are watching on the streaming, people just turning on their televisions right now. The breaking news on this Monday just came down as we went to air. The Calgary Flames have fired Daryl Sutter as their head coach. And I'm sitting here looking on the screens here behind me, Moose, at the Ace Sports Bar. They got Chevy on there talking about the Jets implosion. They got Jim Montgomery from Boston talking about their implosion in Game 7. It's like, it's all old news. So there it is, folks, and we'll get to this more in a moment. But can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan, and we'll get down to business to the degree that we can.
How about that?
I just feel like it's all looking ahead. But it was upset Sunday in the NHL. The Seattle Kraken built a 2-0 lead on a pair of Oliver Bjorkstrand goals in Denver. And the Kraken held on to defeat the Colorado Avalanche 2-1 and eliminate the defending Stanley Cup champions from the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The surprising Kraken now play the Dallas Stars. In another major NHL playoff upset, the wild card Florida Panthers erased a 3-1 series deficit and eliminated the record-setting Boston Bruins Sunday night when Carter Verhaeghe scored at 8:35 of overtime at TD Garden. Cats won 4-3. They advanced to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And where is this news story that I saw here? Like you said, it's a lot of fun that both yours and my teams are in the Stanley Cup playoffs round 2, meeting each other, But how about this, Moose? I'm getting a crash course in how annoying Leafs fans are. Listen, there's no point to go back and talk about the last night's games. We all watched them. We don't need the analysis. We've had 12 hours of this. Here's a story from the Canadian Press Newswire. Maple Leafs fans planning to attend the team's road games in Florida may find themselves shut out of ticket options. The Panthers are restricting ticket sales for games 3 and 4 to American residents. It wasn't clear why the restriction was in place, but the Maple Leafs do have a fan base that travels well, particularly in the snowbird-heavy Sunshine State. Yes, we call them raisins. So it's not just old people. I don't want to name him, but let's just say he goes by the initials Justin Dunk. Blows up my phone this morning.
Spicy.
KRP. Do you know anybody in Florida that can buy us tickets for Leaf fans? I'm like, I can buy you tickets in Florida. I've got a Florida address. He's like, okay, well, this is what we need. We need 8, and not from Ticketmaster. We need it from a verified blue check resale site, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whoa, slow your roll, brother. Who are they for? Send me the link if Ticketmaster isn't good enough. You know what I mean? Just blah, 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 blah. Money no object for Leaf fans. Nor manners. That's wrong. What's wrong with you people? Go back to your shanties.
Done? You good?
Yeah.
How about that?
No, it's
Yes. Got it off my chest.
the first thought, the first thought with the Florida tickets, they've done the math. It's cheaper for me to fly to Florida, get a hotel, pay for food, and buy tickets than it is to buy 2 tickets in Toronto if I live there. So I think Leaf fans are thinking it's going to be cheaper to take a trip to Florida than to go 2 blocks to your own rink in Toronto and watch a game. That's a bit of a problem. This is fun back and forth stuff, man. I mean, Florida the Panthers not wanting to sell tickets to Leaf fans, and there'd be a lot of them that would show up for sure. But this is the fun back and forth. You're going to see a lot of that. I think part of it is because too, you're not going to see many Panther fans buying tickets in Toronto. It's too expensive, hard to get, the whole deal. So you should see maybe home ice advantage is really going to matter more than we think in this round too.
So from the audience, and I appreciate this, Ryan in Toronto says, spontaneous rant. I love it. Yeah, I got more worked up the more I talked about it. I'm sorry. Troy Colmer in Toronto says, can you get me tickets, Rod? I only need 2. Yeah, I could do that. But it was like, we need 8, we need this, we need that, and they can't be this, and they can't be that. How about no? And then
How about that?
he got back to me and said, hang on, we might be getting home tickets, so don't worry about it. So anyway, listen, I joke and I spoof because Justin Dunk and I are very good friends. We're not besties like you and Dunk, but we're pretty good friends. So yeah, I can, but I'm like, amazing. Randy from Winnipeg says, another 10 days of Leafs media. Go Panthers. Travis Peters says, nice shirt, Rod. Somebody wrote in and said, has there ever been, Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg says, has there ever been 2 upsets that huge in one day? There's rarely been an upset, 1 game in 1 day like that. That Bruins being taken down by Florida is the 2nd biggest upset in NHL history. And they say, how do you say that, Rod? 43 points separated the 2 in the regular season. The only time 2 teams met with a bigger gap in the regular season standings was 1982. The Los Angeles Kings and the Edmonton Oilers. The Kings upset Wayne Gretzky's Edmonton Oilers. And it was only the biggest upset, in NHL history, and still is. But we've said this a lot, Darren, about playoffs. You need to fall back down the mountain a little bit. You keep kicking on the door. Where did the Edmonton Oilers go from there? Went on to win 5 Stanley Cups by the end of the decade, right? So here we go. Allie in Texarkana says, I agree with that, Rod. With what? I've said a lot of things. Bo Halverson writes in and says, I just saw Sutter is out in Calgary. What? We opened this show with it.
Bob's your uncle.
And we gave what we know. We're moving on. Anyways, we're coming with some sizzle and some heat, Moose. Any thoughts? We're going to do our bad beats a little later on for Bet Regal. How are you doing? Good. What the bad beats for Bet Regal, whose brackets were busted. But I'll say this. Game 1, Bet Regal, our exclusive betting partner, has the Toronto Maple Leafs favored by 1.5 at home over the Florida Panthers. And in Game 1 of the Oilers and the Golden Knights, the Oilers are favored on the road by 1.5. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's wild. It's going to be so much. It's going to be so much fun. Here's the thing: the early thoughts on Toronto and Florida. You've got Florida, a team that's climbing, and there's a thing about momentum. When it starts growing, it picks up momentum, it gathers, it keeps building, and it becomes really hard to stop. Florida started this late in the regular season, stalled a little bit in round 1, and we're down to Boston. But now they're climbing. You see Paul Maurice on the bench. I mean, he's pumped. There's an energy in that group. They switched to Bobrovsky, and it feels like a new team. Kachuk's doing his thing. They're all playing together. Dangerous. And then you got Toronto, who finally got the monkey off the back after 19 years. With a talented group like that, if they can play stress-free now because they've accomplished the playoff round and play loose and free, they could be an extremely dangerous team. So here you got 2 kind of teams moving in the right direction with a ton of energy and a ton of mojo. This could be a real slobber knocker.
Yes, for sure. Pausing for 1 second. Breaking news. RPShow listeners get 15% off Hotel Clique standard rates with the promo code RPShow. Book before May 6th and travel before December 21st. Cannot be combined with other offers or negotiated rates. Some restrictions apply. Call Hotel Clique for details. I feel like we've got a lot more time to get into tonight's game and other series. Tim Hunter standing by. And enjoy your coffee, Tim. Chill. You got about 15 minutes till he's on. So I will get into tonight's game 2. Game 7. It's point 2. The New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils have the NHL playoff spotlight to themselves tonight as they play Game 7 to finish off the first round of the playoffs. The Rangers staved off elimination by winning Game 6 at home 5-2 on Saturday night. The winner will face the Carolina Hurricanes. This is wild. I did not see this series going this way. I thought the Rangers would make quick work of them. I think I had the Rangers in 5. They're going 7. And it's in Jersey tonight. Home ice, you were mentioning it earlier, what it means to maybe in the Toronto series. Road teams are 35-13 in these Stanley Cup playoffs. So home doesn't mean anything this year.
No, it doesn't. And I've listened to some players, coaches, people around the game talk about, home ice advantage over the last number of years. Here's the thing now. When you go on the road, right, and play on the road, you are together as a team, traveling as a team, eating your meals together as a team. You're on a sleep schedule. You have no distractions. You're eating controlled food. You're taking in your intake of water. Your trainers are there, nutritionists, all the rest. So that's a very controlled environment. Yeah, hostile crowd. But when you're at home, you got look at what you're dealing with. You're not even playing. You got friends and family asking for tickets. You got kids that need your attention. You got a wife that needs your attention or a girlfriend. You got family. You're in your own house, on your own schedule, cooking your own food, dealing with all these distractions, dealing with your own transportation. It's more chaos being at home and more relaxed and loosey-goosey. When you're on the road, you're all buttoned up and on a structured schedule. We've seen the results now in these playoffs, and maybe home ice advantage is a thing of the past.
What a great timing, again, to have Tim Hunter here today to talk about all of these things. The poll question for Key Auto Group. Key Auto Group has the largest selection of quality new and pre-owned vehicles in the Parkland area. Cars, trucks, SUVs. Your journey begins at keyautogroup.ca. The poll question today is, who has a better chance of winning round 2, the Leafs or the Oilers? I saw that was a question posed on SportsCenter on TSN last night, so I thought I would carry it over here. Who has a better chance of winning round 2, the Leafs or the Oilers? Oilers are opening on the road against the conference #1 team, the Vegas Golden Knights, while the Toronto Maple Leafs are taking on the lowest seeded team in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Florida Panthers. So easily you would say, I voted for Toronto. Sorry to say. I'm going to count Florida out the rest of the way. Get ready for it. Because every team that I back and predict loses. So I'll say Toronto's got the easier path. How about that?
How about that?
I love that you did that, because before Game 6, I went to Bet Regal and put some change down on Tampa Bay to win the series. Just in case. I needed the insurance policy that if the Leafs lost, at least I'd get a little winning on my bet. So I'm going to go Toronto too, because I think Vegas is a tougher opponent than Florida, but I think they're both going to be tough series.
Okay, we are only 2 points through the Quick Six show topics. We'll be back with the rest. And on the way, Tim Hunter and Paul Hendricks. We're live from Ace Casino Airport and Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport, on the Game Plus television network, WQEE radio, and streaming.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RPShow gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RPShow gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Canadian Centre for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult, because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, here we go. We do it every week. It's Bad Beats for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. And what we do with Bad Beats is what sports outcomes broke your sports ticket. Let's bring in Darren Moose DuPont right now, our co-host from the NHL Bermuda Triangle. I got a couple, Moose. The Blue Jays were ahead 8-5 Sunday after 7 innings, but the Seattle Mariners prevented a series sweep Sunday by rallying for a 10-8 victory in 10 innings, snapping the Jays' 6-game win streak and halting their own 4-game losing skid. So the Jays were up 8-5 after 7. They blew it. And they lost to the Seattle Mariners, preventing the sweep. That's one. And then number two, upset Sunday, the Florida Panthers upsetting Boston and the Seattle Kraken upsetting Colorado. That was the biggest upset one day in NHL history.
Yeah, pretty big upsets. I mean, who would have picked, Seattle and Florida to both win? I've seen plenty of tickets where people just took the easy money. What we thought was the easy money, Colorado and Boston. They've been there. Colorado just won the Cup. Boston's the best team in NHL history, right? Wrong. Not on Sunday. So, yeah, those were two really, really bad beats. And, I'll give myself a bad beat because I picked Colorado and Carolina to go to the Cup final. At least Carolina's on to round 2. But my status in the RPShow draft is tanking quick. I think I'm in near the bottom after that loss last night. So my draft is busted.
Don't worry, a lot of guys are. But go to betregal.net right now, sign up and start playing. As I mentioned, they've got the Leafs favored by a goal and a half over Florida in Game 1, and the Oilers favored by a goal and a half on the road at Vegas in Game 1 of that Western Series. Folks, check out the couple staycation package at Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport. Rates starting from $179. Includes a $40 voucher for tonic kitchen and bar, plus a bottle of sparkling wine, Chef's Delight, plus a late checkout of 2 p.m. For a complete description of our theme suites, visit hotelclique.ca. Point four, the quick six. The Miami Heat continue to roll. Jimmy Butler scored 25 points, added 11 rebounds as the number 8 seeded Heat edged the New York Knicks 108-101 in Game 1. Elsewhere, the Golden State Warriors knocked off the host Sacramento Kings 120-100 on Sunday to win Game 7 of that series. Point five, Moose, I've got other hockey. And point six, I've got National Lacrosse League. The playoffs, just so you know, open up this upcoming weekend. The Cupcakes will be hosting games here. Our Georgia Swarm, Ryan, didn't get in. They were facing Halifax Friday night in a win and you're in game. Halifax won at 17-11. They beat the Georgia Swarm. So, we'll get to the other hockey and all the rest throughout the course of this program. Off goes the robe. The guests quite enjoyed this, by the way, Moose. They really did. But I'm not done with the Leafs. You are the business guy, and maybe Kevin, the medium, our sales guy, has some thoughts on how that might go down, too, with the Panthers not selling tickets to non-U.S. residents. And I actually think it's non-Florida state residents. Man, Leafs fans are up in arms. Should they be?
Well, yeah, because you don't like to see teams restrict ticket sales to visiting fans. I mean, that's not a good look. And a lot of Leaf fans were thinking this is their way to see the team play. A lot of fans can't afford to watch the team play in Toronto. It's too expensive. The tickets are too hard to come by. And as we priced it out, it's cheaper to get on a plane, go down to Florida and watch the team than it is, and buy tickets there than it is to buy tickets in Toronto. But at the same time, you're trying to protect the resale market. You're trying to make sure your fans get first access to tickets. It's some jostling back and forth. We'll see how it plays out. But, man, it's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun, and we'll get around back to this Daryl Sutter firing story. Ted in Red Deer writes, and he says, I'm very surprised that the Flames fired Daryl. So we'll get to that. Jeff Cabillas in Winnipeg says, congrats to my Steinbach Pistons. We'll see you, Battleford's North Stars, at the Centennial Cup. Yeah, my guy Paul Dick, Steinbach Pistons, captured the MJ title. Very disappointed that I and we won't be in Portage for the Centennial Cup because we got a lot of friends there, but that's how it goes. Glenn in Medicine Hat writes, and he says, I think the best response to people who think you can get them tickets on a wink, wink, nudge, nudge basis is, sure, give me your credit card number. Oh, believe me, Glenn, when's the last time you tried to pull that? Did you know? And you were just in Arizona. You said you golfed 3 rounds. Glenn's a golf guy and a hockey guy in Medicine Hat. They can now distinguish where your credit card's from. Huh? Technology, Moose. But the thing is, I've got credit cards in both countries. That's the point, is I can do this, but as I said to Dunk, why would I do this? And who do you want these tickets for? Come on. That would not surprise you at all, Darren, that I did not immediately jump to buy tickets for Leaf fans in Florida. But I'll say this again. I've been around these Southern Sunbelt teams for a long time. My dad, 26 years, Dallas Stars. Had a friend on the Arizona Coyotes, and now the Panthers thing. For years and years and years, they'd take anybody's money. They would take anybody's money. In Arizona, it really angered the Coyotes, the people that I knew there, that they were the road team in their own building. It really angered them. But in Florida, I've never heard that ever, not one time from the Panthers. And I want to talk about culture for a second. This is 2 full seasons now that I've been covering the Florida Panthers, and I'll be there on Saturday. Back in Florida. What did I tell you about culture, the way they treat each other, the way they treat people? It shouldn't surprise anybody that they've pulled this off. It surprised me. It's the second biggest upset in NHL history, and a lot of people, they think that I'm working for the Panthers or in some way I'm on the payroll, and last I checked, no, I'm not. So if you want to slip me some cash, I'll pick you to win the series no matter what. But they didn't, so I picked the Boston Bruins, as did everybody, not working for the Florida Panthers. But my point is now, again, it's weird that they would limit. I guess they obviously feel they can sell the barn out to Florida people, which they probably can. Do you think it's a bad business move? Like, take your Leaf fan hat off, and just say, say they were playing Montreal and you didn't care. Would you be upset?
Yeah, I still don't like it. Because, I don't like restricting visiting fans. It's, like the Calgary Stampeders restricting Rider fans from buying tickets or vice versa. Like, I don't think that should be an issue. I think, you want to make sure, your fans get tickets first, and maybe they get first crack at it, and the first window and whatever's left gets opened up to the general public, to out-of-town fans and the whole deal. I think you're also trying to protect the resale market, and you want to make sure that it's local people that get first access to these tickets. But at the end of the day, the rink's going to be full. It's the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't think there's going to be an empty seat no matter who they're selling tickets to.
I think people need to understand this is not unheard of. A couple of years ago, Red Deer was playing Brandon in the playoffs, and one of the Brandon parents is a good friend of mine. He wrote me and he said, "Can you believe that the Rebels aren't letting the Wheat Kings fans sit together? Who do I complain to about this?" I said, "I have no idea. Leave me alone." They did that in BC with the Rough Riders when we went there. When I was calling Rough Riders games, the Lions were selling Riders fans. I don't know how they decide that. I think they must ask you back when you used to have to call for tickets. Remember those days? Get on your dinosaur, go down to the payphone, and call for your tickets. Charge by phone. They must say, "Who are you cheering for?" Sask. Okay. We're putting you over here, the other Rider fans over there. They didn't want them all together in one section. And that was 15 years ago. So, again, this isn't new. But speaking of Saskatchewan fans going to Calgary, we've got breaking news today. We have a major announcement to make. Are we going to make it now? The guys have the graphics ready to go. Moose, we're very excited for this announcement. You take it away.
Extremely excited to announce the football summer road trip. It's presented by Woody's RV World, and it's hosted by you and me, Rod, the RP Show. It's going to happen in June. Get your tickets now, rodpedersen.com. For tickets, there's limited quantities available. It's June 23rd to the 25th. Going to hop on a bus in Regina, a beautiful Engelheim Tours charter, head down to Calgary for 2 nights at the Hotel Clique, complimentary breakfast, exclusive pre- and post-game parties, and then we're going to go to the Riders and the Stampeders on Saturday, June 24th. rodpedersen.com for tickets. Presented again by Woody's RV World and Engelheim Tours. It's going to be fantastic.
If we just caught everybody off guard, I'll recap it. Woody's RV World presents the summer football road trip hosted by the RP Show and Engelheim Tours. Tickets available right now at rodpedersen.com. Click the link, the banner. As Darren just said, transportation from Engelheim Tours on June 23rd to from Regina to Calgary, going back home on the Sunday. 2 nights here at Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport. Exclusive pre- and post-game parties hosted by us. And then a ticket to Saskatchewan, Calgary, June 24th. What could be finer? Thank you, Woody's RV, for coming on board with that. And thank you also to Engelheim, longtime friends of mine. We'll be watching some CFL action with those 2 football clubs. A big thank you to Woody's RV World for sure. So what a Monday, man, coming in hot. Now, we only got a couple minutes left with you. I want to just for a second talk about Kevin Cheveldayoff standing at the podium this weekend. I guess Rick Bowness walked back his comments and said he regrets using the term disgusted. He was disgusted by his players. You saw what Blake Wheeler said. Do you think this was just an emotion thing coming off a Game 5 series loss and that this relationship can be repaired? I think they're just blowing off steam, or does somebody got to go in Winnipeg? Because Chevy said Rick Bowness is coming back.
Yeah, I don't think you can go back as a group like that. I think it's tough. I really do. When you say that publicly and then the players publicly say he shouldn't have done that, we don't like what he said, you've got a real damaged relationship, and this is heading towards a split. So, no, I don't think they can come back. I think major changes are coming. Chevy's coming back. Bonus is coming back. So that means this core group of players probably isn't coming back. A lot of work for Chevy and the Jets to do this offseason.
Well, I don't know if they're in self-preservation mode yet. Usually in these situations, people do get into self-preservation mode within teams. Trust me, I've seen it myself. And here's Chevy going, hey, you guys don't understand how hard it is to get into the playoffs. And he's right. He's right. So he assembled a talent-worthy roster. The one thing I'm hearing, I'm very interested to get Tim Hunter's thoughts on this. I'm hearing this from the scouts more and more and more. They're putting an emphasis on good people now more than ever before. And I remember my dad's meeting with the Stars for 26 years. They never used to really care as much then about a guy's character. Can he play? Now that is far more important to the NHL teams, and I might suggest the NFL teams and the CFL teams than it ever was before. And back to the Daryl Sutter firing. We got less than a minute. Any parting thoughts, Darren, on that before we let you go?
Just, briefly surfing Twitter, I think there's a lot of Flames fans. If I'm taking a temperature really, really quickly from my initial reaction on social media, I think overall they're pretty happy with this. They want a complete new direction. What I'm gathering, GM's gone, so coach is going to be gone. I think it kind of brings in a level of optimism and excitement about, the next regime and what they can do with this group.
Thanks, Darren. That was fast. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll examine all of this with Tim Hunter, Stanley Cup champion with the Flames, but also look ahead to Leafs Panthers, longtime Leafs assistant coach, and certainly Oilers and Golden Knights. We'll talk about it all when we return to Ace Casino Airport and Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport after this on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, and streaming.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat.
dark horse bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Back live at Ace Casino Airport, Calgary. By the way, this Saturday, free viewing party for UFC 288 and all UFC pay-per-view events every month at the Ace Casino Airport Sports Bar. It's like 20 feet to my left, your right. This Saturday night, free UFC 288. I feel like I'm in the middle of a UFC cage right now. Tim Hunter joining us. In terms of bloodshed, Tim, with the Calgary Flames, Daryl Sutter being fired today, announced while Pierre LeBrun's come out with it, and I'm not sure who all else. Doesn't matter. It's happened. Did you see this coming?
Well, in a way, over the last week or so, not hearing anything from the Flames about Daryl not speaking to the media, and Don Maloney saying he was going to go through the whole organization and make an evaluation. So he made his evaluation. I think they listened to the fans, they listened to the media, listened to the players. And through all that, they came to the decision that Daryl wasn't going to be their guy moving forward.
Well, I got to just walk that back for a sec. You made a good point about Don Maloney, the acting general manager. Would this have been his decision since he was the acting GM, do you think, or would it go higher?
Well, all this goes through the owner. Every move they make, and, you know, they decide that they're going to keep Daryl and let Brad move on, and then, you know, they dig deeper into the player evaluations, the player conversations, and the fans, and in the end, they just believe that there wasn't enough traction to keep Daryl and move forward with him. They wanted to start fresh, and they're going to start fresh. A new manager and new coach in the offseason. It's exciting for the fans, exciting for the team, and you never like to see anyone lose their job. Both Daryl and Brad will land on their feet, whatever they do, wherever they go.
Isn't this fantastic for daytime sports talk to be on the air when these things break down? This is the kind of day why we do what we do here on Game Plus TV and WQEE and streaming. But before we move on to the other series and all the rest, because they are owed some talk, I kind of like the fact that somebody had to pay for a very, what should I say, unappealing year, an underachieving year here for the Calgary Flames, and I guess everybody ended up paying for it. But you saw Washington, how many teams toasted their guy? Anaheim, right? And finally it was Calgary. You missed the playoffs. Somebody had to pay.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't stop there. You know, the players are all accountable too, and you know, next year it's going to be on Kadri, Huberdeau, and Markstrom, the guys that had poor seasons, to up their game. And whatever reason they had a poor season for, and there's a lot of things that go into this, and that's some of it's outside of the realm of people having knowledge of, outside of the locker room or outside of the organization. So they're going to have to pick their game up and play a little differently to put this Flames team back in a playoff hunt.
This is great. Landry in Billings, Montana, watching you. Sutter says Sutter is an old school coach. I'm wondering if the game has changed too much and they will be looking for a different style. Ted in Red Deer says, Rod, are you interviewing the next head coach of the Flames? I had to think for a minute. He's referring to you. You got the resume?
I do have the resume for sure.
I like it.
I don't think that's going to happen.
You don't think that's going to happen?
No.
Would you do it?
Oh, I'd love to do
That'd be pretty cool.
I've always said the only way I'm going back to coaching or working again in hockey is in the NHL. It's not going to be in junior. I've turned down American League jobs. I've turned down jobs in Europe. I'm not interested. I've done enough of that. The only way I'd go back to coach is coaching in the NHL.
Well, let's be honest, Tim. It's an attractive job. It's a talented team. You got a new arena coming. This isn't a destitute franchise.
Oh, no. It's a great place to play, a great group of players, and there was just so many things went on this year that didn't go right. The karma, the harmony, whatever you want to call it, just wasn't in the cards. And you could see it from the beginning. When you lose so many games to non-playoff teams, makes you a non-playoff team. So really, they were like kind, losing those games. People were complaining. they just didn't do enough good things. They didn't score enough, and they didn't defend well enough. They didn't get big saves at the right times. You know, the team the year before got enough scoring. They defended better. They played way differently, and it was a much more exciting team. Team this year was kind of always missing something, and it was scoring and playing harder and playing better defensively and getting bigger saves.
Trust me, we're going to talk about the other series because you have thoughts. But let's just go back to Winnipeg for a second. Rick Bowness roasts his players. Blake Wheeler comes out and says he doesn't like what the coach said. And then Bowness has to walk back what he said, I guess, on the weekend. He said he wished he hadn't used the term disgusted. Kevin Cheveldayoff has said the coach is back. General manager said it on the weekend. What's your read on all of that in the last few days in Winnipeg?
Well, you know, the truth hurts, and I guess Bones, and I've known him a long time, and he is what he is. He's honest and straightforward with his players, the media, everyone, and he wore his emotions on his sleeve after the game, and he regrets the disgusting word, and that's about it. He doesn't regret saying his players didn't push back. You watch the series last night, just watch last night's 2 games, and you can see what pushback is. And when you watch Winnipeg, you saw nothing like that in their effort through the whole playoffs and parts of the stretch after February on. So Bones knows what pushback is, and he knows what his players weren't willing to do and aren't willing to do, and it's a character flaw. So he wore his emotions on his sleeve, and I think the manager realized that, and, you know, hey, sometimes you say things you regret. It doesn't make you a bad person or a bad coach. And the players, now it's up to them. And I don't know, I think they obviously have internal problems there in their locker room. I was on a hot stove with Paul Maurice a few years ago, and we're sitting around. It was a round table thing at the NHL Coaches Association. The big question to him was, what's it like to coach in Winnipeg? Quite frankly, he said it's a real pain in the ass. He says that group is very, very hard to handle. And you look, they're very hard to handle.
Yeah.
And you saw what you saw in Rick Bowness's comments. Raw truth.
Yeah, and look what Paul Maurice is doing right now and what the Winnipeg Jets are doing right now. But we only have 90 seconds. Can you answer this question in that amount of time? Go ahead and take a sip of coffee. I heard coaching in the Stanley Cup playoffs, or the playoffs in general, but specifically Stanley Cup playoffs, not just the NHL, is overrated in the playoffs. The players decide it in the playoffs. Would you agree with that or not?
Yeah, you make some tweaks here and there, and a lot of it's the players in the locker room are deciding. They band together and push guys that are taking penalties to, like, listen, this is not what we're doing. Guys that are making too many bad passes, this is not what we're doing. And the leadership in the room directs the team. The coaches, they manage some of that, but really it is in the locker room where the games are won, no question.
We'll talk about upset Sunday in the NHL, look ahead to round 2, and more on the firing of Daryl Sutter when we return. We are live from Ace Casino Airport and Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport, on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE, and streaming.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RPShow gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RPShow gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Canadian Centre for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport, the place to be. And by the way, just today we announced, bear with me, I got 18 things going on. I need to be an octopus as we go. But just announced today, Woody's RV World presents the summer football road trip hosted by the RPShow and Engelheim Tours. Tickets are available now at rodpeterson.com. It includes charter transportation from Engelheim Tours June 23rd from Regina to Calgary and returning on the Sunday, the 25th. Two-night accommodation here at the Hotel Clique Calgary Airport with complimentary breakfast each day, exclusive pre- and post-game parties right here in the A Sports Bar, and a ticket to the Rough Riders and Stampeders on June 24th. All with us. Hotel Clique Calgary Airport will be hosting you. Tim Hunter is with us, Stanley Cup champ with the Flames, Stanley Cup finalist with the Vancouver Canucks. And before we go any further, what's cool about all of this is you've known these guys with Ace for a long time, you told me.
Yeah, back in the day when I was a player, they asked me to do some commercials for their parking lot here out of the airport, and we could never connect, but great people, great in the community, big sport fans, and big supporters in the community here in Calgary.
We're very happy to be here. We're very happy that they've treated us so well. In the time we have left here, which is about 5 minutes, that gives us a lot. Okay, what's your read on Panthers Bruins?
Well, there's a lot under the surface that you won't see for a few days, is how banged up the Bruins were. That's the fallout of trying to win a President's Trophy, banging away 65 wins, Bergeron hurt, Krejci hurt,
Pasternak looking like he might have been a little hurt.
Yeah, some banged up guys, and goalies that hadn't been under that kind of pressure. And tell you, in the playoffs, the number one thing once the puck drops in the playoffs, and you're the favorite, it's the pressure. Can you handle that pressure? And you saw Florida loose, underdog, big time, and just roll along and have a smile on their face. And the Bruins never looked happy from the get-go.
In Game 7 or in the series?
The whole series.
Yeah, because of the pressure.
Never looked happy, never looked, and obviously they know internally that they're banged up. They know internally they're they're probably in tough because of how banged up they are.
Well,
and no joy for them.
How long were you with the Leafs?
3 years with the Leafs.
Long enough. So they're fans, different than the team. The fans are like, oh, Florida, they're brutal. They got their East final penciled in now. They think this will be easy. That's the sense I get.
It's a new season. You got a different mojo once you win a playoff series. I've been through it. Favorite in Calgary to win a Stanley Cup, come up against Vancouver Canucks, go to Game 7, win in overtime, right? Playing for Vancouver, we're the underdog, playing the Flames that are a favorite again, and now we go into Calgary, win in Calgary in overtime, and beat the favorite. So, been on both sides of it and what it feels like, and it's pure joy when you win either way. But now they're rolling. Team like Florida, look out. And same with Toronto. They've got that perennial, proverbial monkey off their back. They can just go on and play, and they don't have to worry about all the questions of not getting past the first round, and they can just play their game.
Road teams 35-13 in these playoffs.
I see that changing in the second round. It's going to be different emotions, and it's an aberration. It's not going to go that way all the way through the playoffs. And you'll see in the end, it's not the team with the best power play in the playoffs that wins. It's going to be the team with the best penalty killing that wins in the end, too.
We'll get to your questions that are non-NHL related next hour when Tim adjourns. Maybe, because there's a lot of exciting things on the go here today with the Stanley Cup playoffs. But, I mean, culture. You weren't around here. It was last week. Somebody was talking about the 89 Flames, and they said it's a bunch of great guys. Like, you weren't part of the discussion is what I'm saying. You were part of the team. But you're like Colin Pedersen, Lanny. The list goes on. You guys clearly had a good culture. And Paul Maurice, I heard him on the pregame show yesterday, the Panthers radio, saying when he got hired in Florida, it was a positive. The players loved playing there. They loved the city. They loved the franchise. You can see it. Paul goes, I walked into something good and just kept it going.
Well, it always starts at the top, and the culture starts at the top. And Bill Zito in Florida and here in Calgary was Cliff Fletcher. And you had guys like Al McNeil and Al Coates. These are guys, like I used to say to Al McNeil, Al, I want your job when I retire from hockey because you're always around here. You talk to the guys. No one really knows what your job is, and you get to go on the road for a couple of weeks, and then you come back again, and you're always positive, and you have good things to say when you're around the locker room. Al Coates was the same. One of the most influential mentors on a lot of young Flame players that not a lot of people know about. Al would come down and steer the guys in the right direction if we were having issues with Crispy or whatever in the locker room or off the ice, and he would kind of steer us in the right way, come down, say nice words to Tim Hunter about how he's playing and his off ice, what a good guy he is, and then we would take those other words of advice and implement them in the locker room, and that's a big thing on creating culture.
Well said. We're out of time on hour one. Tim Hunter going to stick around for hour two. We'll look ahead and talk about more of the Daryl Sutter firing after this quick break on Game Plus and WQEE.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RPShow gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RPShow gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
We're all capable of doing more. more speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Canadian Centre for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Should Rick Bowness be in trouble with the Jets ownership for pointing the fingers at the players? I say he shouldn't, because I'm a speak your truth kind of guy.
He might get a talking to, but as long as he's been preaching that message since January internally, why not? I mean, players have to be held accountable. I think players these days in general are way too soft.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It's a brand new week. It's episode number 990 of your favorite daytime sports talk show, coming your way on the Game Plus television network in BC and Alberta. That's TELUS Channel 924. We're also on the radio, WQEE Metro Atlanta. We are Atlanta's NHL show. Shout out to Ryan O'Radio, who's hopping the board down there in Metro Atlanta. And we're also on streaming, YouTube, and your favorite podcast platform. Very big day today. The Calgary Flames announcing, or at least the story's broken, Pierre LeBrun of TSN and The Athletic saying that Daryl Sutter has been fired as head coach of the Calgary Flames. That's 2 weeks to the day after the team announced their parting ways with general manager Brad Treliving. We will get to more of that. We've got one Game 7 tonight. It's the New York Rangers at the New Jersey Devils. We haven't even talked about that with our special guest, Tim Hunter, Stanley Cup champion down here, which we'll get to more with Tim in a moment. But I also want to mention, very big day, we're launching this. Woody's RV World presents the Summer Football Road Trip hosted by RPShow and Engelheim Tours. You can purchase your spots right now. It's the Stampeders, home to the Rough Riders on Saturday, June 24th. Fan bus coming from Regina to Calgary, courtesy Engelheim Tours. 2-night accommodations here at Hotel Clee Calgary Airport. Complimentary breakfast each day. Exclusive pre- and post-game parties right here on the Ace Sports Bar. And then we'll go to the game. Riders and Stampeders. Get your tickets right now at rodpedersen.com. Thank you, Woody's RV World and Engelheim Tours, for stepping up and bringing the CFL together. We'll see you, Rider Nation, out here for that big game. Tim Hunter with us, as I mentioned. We can't open up hour two. We have a whole new set of viewers and listeners here on Game Plus and WQEE with the ground-shaking news that Daryl Sutter has been fired as head coach of the Calgary Flames. And just a little tweak on what we've been talking about so far. This has become an attractive job, I would think, Tim, for the next GM, because you're not coming in with an incumbent coach it's a blank canvas, I would think, for the next general manager of this hockey team.
Yeah, you're gonna see a whole different era of Calgary Flames hockey with a new manager, a new set of ideals, direction, and then with a new coach, whether it's a new NHL coach, first-time NHL coach, or one of these guys that has coached before. They've got some great candidates. I really think they've got some good candidates inside their organization to be the head coach here, and there's lots of great candidates out there. So I assume once the manager gets in place, he'll take his time to pick the right person.
One more on Calgary before we move on to the other series and the other cities. The new arena. I saw a lot of Flames alumni at the news conference last week, but I didn't see you. Were you there?
No, I had just had my hip replaced.
Okay.
I wasn't able to go.
Must have been killing you not to be there.
Oh, I would have loved to have been there. Yeah, it's exciting as a Calgarian to see that progress, that we're going to have a new building and quite frankly, not just a new building, a new entertainment area downtown, close to where the Saddle Dome is now. It's less than a block away. A whole new vibe down there, revitalization of the whole area. That corner of the Elbow River and the Bow River, it's such great property. It's such a beautiful area, and it's really exciting to have an entertainment district, not just the hockey arena, and then another arena in Calgary, be a practice facility for the Flames, the Hitmen, and the Wranglers, and also minor hockey and other hockey endeavors, whether it's para hockey or whatever. It's exciting for the city, and I'm really glad they're moving forward with it.
New era in this city with the Flames and the new arena, and I don't need to tell you how happy we are to be a part of it. We've been treated so well. It's just fun to be here. We have not spent enough time, hardly at all, today on the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. Edmonton's favored going in at Bet Regal. I know you're a coach, you don't care about the odds. But that tells me, I know you don't care, but Oilers favored in game one by a goal and a half tells me a lot. Because tells me a lot. The odds makers think Edmonton is more of a wagon, as they say, than Vegas right now at this time of year.
Yeah, well, Edmonton's scored the most and has the best power play, so that's where they get that, and it's all about goals. And Vegas is a very good defending team. They score enough, and their penalty killing hasn't been great, so that's a point of contention when you have a power play that I think it's operating at over 50%, and you don't have a very good penalty killing unit. So, you know, the old saying, defense wins you championships, and you're not going to score as much as you move through the playoffs as you did in the first round. So I think Vegas has got to buckle down, get better goaltending, better penalty killing, and it's going to be a great series. You're going to have to defend two of the best players in the game, or two of the best players probably of all time, in the top 10 or 20 for sure, in Draisaitl and McDavid. Those two guys are so dynamic, so hard to defend, that and Edmonton has really improved their team through their depth and some of the acquisitions down the stretch, trade deadline, what have you, to make them more of a complete team, better defensive team, more depth through the lineup. So it's exciting.
Oh, very exciting. By the way, just from the audience, I promised we'd get in some of their comments. Safe Moon Dog, that's the name, Safe Moon Dog, watching on streaming, says it will be Glenn Gulletson. I'm sorry, what? As the next coach of the Flames? They fired him here. Pretty sure it won't be Gully, the pride of Hudson Bay Sask, along with Trent Yanni. Unless you think it will be, but I don't think it will be.
No, it's hard to say. Glenn's done a terrific job in Edmonton. He operates their power play. He's a very bright guy. He's very articulate, no question. You know, it's going to be the general manager's idea. Whoever we think it's going to be or don't think it's going to be doesn't really matter. The manager's going to hire a guy that he thinks is capable to move this team and the character on this team forward to get the most out of them.
I can confidently say I have no idea who it's going to be, but it is fun to guess. Landry in Montana says, Rod, any big plans for the big 1000 show? Landry, I'm not thinking about it. Today is show number 990. I'm worried about today. And I'll tell you what, tomorrow I'll be worried about 991. Sorry to be a downer, but you got to stay in the now, right, Tim?
Yeah,
You know
day.
that.
It's a great day to wake up, regardless of what it is.
Just worried about today.
Yeah.
On Vegas, you watched all those games, obviously, the last series?
Yes.
They won it without Jack Eichel barely breaking a sweat, in my opinion. He's not going yet.
No, and you're not going to get the most out of every player every round, and your top scorers aren't going to be your top scorers every round. You look to other players, and obviously Chandler Stevenson and Mark Stone and some of the ancillary guys in Vegas. I coached Brett Howden. Boy, what a great series. It got better and better as it went along. Really proud of the way Brett's played and found a way to help Vegas win. Number one pick, Tampa, New York, now in Vegas. And the biggest thing, guys, they make mistakes of thinking they're going to be the guy because they were the guy in junior. You're not going to be the guy. Once you figure it out, you have to find a way to help a team win, and Brett's done that. So I think, and Vegas, good system. Every time you look around, you think there's 6 guys on the ice. You think, how can they have so many guys around the puck? And that's the way they play. They're all around the puck. They swarm, they pressure, and you get choked off. So Edmonton's going to have their hands full with the way Vegas plays systematically, and it's going to be a fun series. And yeah, if Jack Eichel gets going and get their power play going, it'll be exciting. It's one of the best first rounds I can recall in NHL hockey, and I think the second round is going to be just as exciting.
Based on what? Overtimes or upsets or
upsets, game sevens, teams, these Cinderella teams, Seattle, like last night, like pushback against Colorado. Colorado comes at you. That was a track meet. That looked like 80s Oilers hockey against the Flames. Just a track meet, up and down, back and forth, scoring chances, D in the rush, D down in front of the net. You've got 3 horses on Colorado coming at you, and Seattle's right there with them. They're coming at you. They're chip in charge. They're getting their chances. They're saying no at every turn of the game. They're not going to be denied, and they weren't denied. They got great goaltending in Grubauer, and there you go, Cinderella story. So exciting hockey.
Well, you've won Stanley Cups, so you'd know, and you've lost Stanley Cups, so you'd know. Sorry to say, but you know what I'm saying. You've seen it from both sides. You mentioned last hour it's all about goals, and the second you said that, I thought, wait a minute, I thought it was defense wins championships. But if this year has been a throwback to the 80s with all the goals and the individual point seasons, right? McDavid with his 150. So maybe, is it back to that?
No, I meant, you were talking about the bets that the Oilers were favored to win. They're favored to win because they score so many goals. They're not going to score that many goals as they move through.
Okay.
Yeah, defense does win championships, and the teams that stifle you and choke you off, like Seattle does, like Vegas does, moving forward to the teams that are going to have success. You're not going to score 5 goals a game every night in the second round and third round of the playoffs.
I would think no. To the Leafs, we haven't spent enough time on the Leafs for good reason. I'm starting to get annoyed, man, and they are playing my Florida Panthers, so there might going to be blood in the streets. I had Leaf fans writing me today saying, can you buy us tickets to the games in Florida because you need a Florida dress? But money, no object. These fans are nuts.
Yeah. Well, my first year coaching, I coached in Washington. We went to the Stanley Cup Finals against Detroit, and that started this ball rolling about the area codes and buying tickets in the locale, because there was more Detroit fans in Washington than there was Washington fans. It was embarrassing playing the Red Wings in the Stanley Cup Finals in Washington, and how many Red Wing jerseys were in the stands. And they were just giving the tickets away. They panicked. They were giving tickets away to anybody. And all these locals couldn't get tickets because they sold them all to the Detroit fans. And that was a shame. And we were in, it was embarrassing. So now teams have got onto this is no.
Have you ever run a business, Tim?
Yes, I have.
I would take anybody's money. That's just me. And in Florida, Arizona, Anaheim, I've been at the games there where the home team is the road team. I wouldn't care. I would not care. But you're saying come playoff time, it's different. That's what you're saying?
Well, you're trying to develop a culture of fans, and when you're winning and you're moving along in the playoffs, you want to build that culture and keep the people excited locally, because that's your product. It's local. It's not the Detroit fans coming into Washington because they're in the Stanley Cup Finals. You want the locals to get on board and get on the bandwagon and get excited about this. And when they can't, that kills your product moving forward.
I'm not saying I got all the answers. You just said it very well why they would want to do this. But to the Leafs, what cracked that nut that they finally got on to round 2 for the first time in however many years?
The best team they've had in a long time. The confidence they got from going to 7 games with Tampa last year, and Tampa probably didn't play as well and won. The Tampa played better this year and lost, and their team's better. And those guys have matured. They've gone through the 10,000 questions from 10,000 reporters sticking a mic in their face every day on when you're going to win, why can't you win first round of the playoffs, do you feel the pressure, it's painstaking when you're a player there, a coach there, to have to go through that every day. And those guys just kind of, now it's like water off a duck's back. They don't really care. They're confident they're a good team. I think their coaches matured, their managers matured, and they've all grown through this. They've stuck together. They didn't fire, and they slowly kind of just added pieces. And the pieces they've added over time have slowly fit in and done well. And it's a maturation process. It doesn't happen overnight. You've got to learn to lose before you learn to win. And that's the Toronto Maple Leafs, and good for them. You knew it wasn't going to last forever, losing out in the first round. And, I like Tampa, but Tampa wasn't 100%. They were banged up. They missed a couple of key players. Point was banged up front. I don't know about anybody else. I'm sure there was other guys that were banged up. So, it's Toronto's time, and they'll have their hands filled with Florida, because Florida is confident, cocky, and they're not going to say no.
And no pressure on them.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to go this far, but was it too much of a celebration by Leaf fans in your mind? Like, it seemed a little over the top to me. But.
That's great for them, and they're, it's a big following, and they've been around forever, and they've been waiting, and the pressure will mount now on the players again. It's round 2, and now you're supposed to move on. You beat, a very good Tampa team that's won a couple Stanley Cups in the last few years. Blah blah blah. So the pressure will mount on them, and now how do they handle the next wave of pressure?
We have not been short on things to talk about today with Tim Hunter, and I've got even more, which will continue when we come back. We will push your questions into the overtime segment, the final segment of the day, because on the way, Paul Hendrick, the legendary Leafs reporter as well. There's a lot of CFL fans dialed in today. The draft is tomorrow, asking some thoughts. There's some news with the Argos and John Murphy. We'll get to your questions a little later on, okay? Lots going on in the world of hockey today. And Daryl Sutter fired as head coach of the Calgary Flames. That is the biggest news. We'll be right back to Ace Casino Airport and Hotel Cleat, Calgary Airport, after this brief pause on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, and streaming.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
In the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Come check us out. Ace Casino Airport open now. Tuesday, I'll give you an advance notice. Tuesday and Thursday are Seniors Day here at Ace Casino Airport. Seniors can enjoy discounted food items along with a chance to win your share of cash and prizes with a lucky roll of the dice. The home of the RP Show is Ace Casino Airport and Hotel Clique Calgary Airport. We're so happy to be here and so happy to have Tim Hunter with us, Stanley Cup champion with the Calgary Flames. Been to Cup finals with the Canucks and Capitals, and unfortunately didn't pull it out there. So we've seen it from both sides. And before we delve back into the Stanley Cup playoff talk, how about this one, Tim? You saw I was with Ryan and Chris Getzlaff Saturday night, and I always enjoy those guys. Good guys. They were talking about Bedard. Because everybody's talking about Bedard.
Right.
You know, and you know that I'm fixated on this. Where is he going to go, and where's the best place for him to go, and so forth. Ryan thinks Anaheim would be a great spot for him. Not necessarily a Canadian market. And it was ironic because Ryan said he would have liked to have played in a Canadian market in his career. Just didn't happen. But he goes with Bedard, those little rookie mistakes he's going to make would not be amplified down there in Anaheim like they would in a Vancouver or a Montreal, right? Like the highlights every night. Look what the number 1 overall pick did.
Yeah, it's really tough in a big market. And you've seen lots of guys fail, and they just get buried because they can never... If they make a mistake, it's under a microscope every day in the media. And yeah, kids got to have tough skin for sure. And when a coach, skips a shift or misses half a period or something here and there, it's going to be a big deal. And then they got to answer questions daily about a guy that's just developing. And you look at Beniers in Seattle. It's taken him a while to become the player he is. He's a college guy. He's mature. But you put an 18-year-old boom into the NHL, it takes 4 or 5 years for them to become. Bouchard in Edmonton, great example. He's 5 years pro, and it's his coming out part. 5 years, it's his coming out party now in the Stanley Cup playoffs with Edmonton. You know, the vision to draft him to be what he is today, very bright decision to take a guy like him. Bush, I had him with the World Junior. His heart rate doesn't get over 60. It doesn't matter the time of day, when he is ice cold, and he never gets too excited. He's just one of those guys, and he just plays. He's got a super talent, super ability to see the play, and they've done a great job with developing him and just letting him play in Edmonton, which is a big Canadian market. So it's possible. You know, it's an exciting thing to see where Bedard's going to end up.
Well, and Getz and I agreed he's going to be great no matter where he is. And I said, you know, humbly speaking on Ryan's behalf, I said, Ryan would have been a Hall of Famer no matter where you went. He would have, right? 17 years in the NHL, Stanley Cup champion, 2 Olympic gold medals. Ryan would have been a star. Connor's going to be a star wherever. But it's just, like you say, it's interesting to see where it'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when that draft lottery is. Do you know when it is? Is it coming up?
Somewhere in May.
It's like Christmas to me.
Early May.
May 8th.
May.
A week from today?
There you go. Yeah.
Can we go live, Clark, that day? I think that would be a very exciting thing to do.
Yeah,
the Bedard sweepstakes.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. There, yeah, you got Vancouver. He's from Vancouver, Anaheim, Seattle. I mean, San Jose. Those teams the Chicago or the bottom feeders. And then there's some other teams with potential. So
Vancouver, that's Kevin's hometown, has apparently a 6% chance. So there's a chance. Yeah, exactly. There is a chance. We have not talked enough as far as I'm concerned about the Oilers and Golden Knights series, and there are others. I should get you a quick thoughts on Game 7 tonight, Rangers Devils. I did not see this going this long. Did you?
Well, again, there's another scenario where you have a favorite and an underdog. No one thought that the Devils were going to do what they're going to do. It was all the Rangers. They're the big guns in New York, and Devils, this young say-no team, just like Florida, just like Seattle. An exciting team to watch. It's exciting hockey, so it's going to be another great night for the NHL.
But that's why I say the coaching, and I believe this especially in a Game 7, the coaching is overrated. It's opened the door, is it not?
Well, you know, I said earlier it's a lot of the players, but, you know, there's line matching and D matching, and you have a head coach and the coach that manages the D, coach that manages the forwards, and the coach basically sets the tempo for who's out against who. And you know, home ice advantage is a big deal in the playoffs for matching lineups and getting your best players out against, you know, not the best checkers from the other team. So those things the coach really has a lot of handle on and a lot of input. But through the whole thing of managing the harmony of the team and the drive of the team happens in the room with the leadership. And you have a lot of guys, like take Seattle, for instance. You've got a lot of guys in the room that won Stanley Cups. So those guys are managing Beniers and the younger players that haven't been in the playoffs before ever, and about the pressure and, you know, what to expect and the refereeing and how to handle yourself. And it's so important that the players in the room, the coach is not, he comes in for about a minute or a minute and a half in that 18-minute intermission.
Yep.
But those guys are talking nonstop the moment they get in the locker room until they go back out on the ice. And then the coach talks a little bit behind them, but they're down on the bench and the guys are putting their arm around each other and say, "Hey, dude, you know, like, great play," or, it's a tough play you made. Don't worry about it. We got your back. And the players really, they play for each other. The coach gives direction, sets a template, and manages the minutes and manages the line matchups. But you create that culture all year long going into the playoffs, and the players manage that culture in the room to help you win.
Talking about over-the-top celebrations, Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, writes in, he says, nothing could be more over-the-top than the Dallas Stars dropping confetti for a round one playoff win. Hey, it's different in America than Canada. It's different. But that Dallas-Minnesota series is probably the one that I watched the least. I picked Wild in 7, and I think it ended up being Stars in 6. Do you see the Stars? Well, they got Seattle now. What do you think the Stars are capable of?
Well, they have fantastic goaltending in Ottinger, and their big players are playing really well. You know, that's the key. I mean, they missed. I'm a big Joe Pavelski fan. I coached him in San Jose, had him as a rookie, had him at development camps. He is one of the best pros I've coached outside of Joe Thornton. Like, super kid, super guy, real hockey rat, and sad to see him get hurt. I hope he'll be back. You know, but they've got a lot going on for them. They're playing really well. They're getting good defense. They're getting support. The special teams. Yeah, that was a great series. And I don't like to, harp on things, but all Minnesota was concerned about, and right from their leadership through the players, was the refereeing. Like,
yeah.
They were so worried about the refereeing, and the composure of the team just didn't seem to be in sync through the whole series. And Dallas, well coached, well managed, and well behaved through the playoffs.
Well, look at these coaches. Jim Montgomery kind of got his revenge, I guess, or whatever you want. Not revenge, but vindication by winning the President's Trophy. Wouldn't it be something if he goes on to win the Jack Adams? Because that's a regular season trophy, right?
Yeah,
Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think Jim Montgomery's the reason the Boston Bruins lost out. But you got DeBoer in Dallas, fired in Vegas. Cassidy in Vegas, fired in Boston. There's got to be some motivation from those guys, I would think.
Oh, always is. And the reason why guys like Pete DeBoer moves around is he's been there before, and Pete's never won, and he's been there a number of times and never won, and you wonder why. I have my thoughts on it, and I don't need to tell people, but he has that experience. He's good with the players. He's good in the room. He knows how to handle the pressure with the players. It's, can he get this group over the hump and do something for the first time, and that's win a Stanley Cup. So that's the question. But and Bruce was terrific in Boston. He started in Washington, had some issues in Washington, and rectified his life and came back as a coach in Boston's organization. And Providence, he was really good there, and they promoted him to Boston. He did a great job in Boston. And George McPhee had him in Washington first time around, and here he has him again now in Vegas. So they believes in him. They have some history, and Bruce is a very polished guy. He handles pressure very well. He's good with the players, and he's a smart coach. So he's been there. He's been in those battles. He's been there, and he's battled. So it's exciting. I think Dallas is, if they get Joe Pavelski back, and I'm hoping they will. I was really a fan of Dallas. I was hoping Dallas beat Minnesota. I just didn't really like the way they handled themselves in the playoffs, the way they played. It just didn't seem right to me. Yet Dallas looked like a team that was going to do it and win in the first round.
Well, I'm probably underestimating the importance of coaching, and that's a disservice to the coaches. Because I look at Paul Maurice. He gets hired in Florida, and I was there in the summer when they hired him, and my friends, they're all Panthers fans, South Floridians. They're like, Americans. He's never won anything. They're looking at his resume. I'm like, well, no, but he's got a pretty good winning percentage. He's coached 1,000 games. And I wasn't a Panther believer all year, just so you know. Like in December, they weren't playing well. And what Randy Muller's a good friend of mine, he goes, they're getting on to the Maurice system. It's totally different from Brunette and Quenneville. And I thought, what I'm seeing isn't matching up. They're just not playing hard. But then they get into the second half, Tim, and they played like their whole life depended on it. Every shift. You know what I mean? And the culture, as I said, was always good. Paul Maurice, well, they went to the second round last year, as you know, and were swept by Tampa. This isn't even as talented a team as last year for Florida. It's not as talented.
Yeah,
but they're a better team.
Yeah, that's right. They're a better team, and that's what wins, is the team. I look back to when St. Louis won and they had great balance through their lineup because they had a lot of rich players. They had a lot of wealthy players, but not a lot of rich players. So they could spread that wealth out through their lineup and have 4 good lines, 60, and 2 real good goaltenders. And that's what Seattle has. That's what Florida has moving forward. Dallas has that. So these teams, Jersey and the Rangers, have that. There's lots of balance through their lineup. So that's the exciting part of it.
Yeah.
And in Florida, Paul Maurice, he's never lost a Game 7. He's won 4 straight, I believe, Game 7s. So he's got a pretty good track record in Game 7s. He's a composed guy. His blood is cold as it gets when it comes to pressure, and he's a super guy. He's very cerebral, bright guy, and he's a real hockey guy. He's really gets to know the players, and creating a culture. So they put a stamp on. It took a while to get going. And now that room, when Tkachuk goes in the room and puts that puck in the slot, he says, "Remember this feeling, boys. We're going to be back here for Game 7." And they did. And that's
mental stuff.
That's right. It comes from the players.
Tim, thank you so much for all you do for us. We're heading out of town at the end of the week. I'm hoping to be back this summer, but thanks for all the time you spent with us. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You guys do a great job. We really appreciate the support you give our Flames alumni.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome, man. I love it. Tim Hunter joining us. Don't go anywhere yet. Sports update before we break. Jeremy Hansel scored at 6:21 of overtime as the Seattle Thunderbirds rallied from a 3-1 deficit to edge the Kamloops Blazers 4-3 to take a 2-0 lead in the Dubs Western Conference Final Sunday night. Game 3 Tuesday in Kamloops. Oilers superstar Connor McDavid's among this year's inductees to Canada's Walk of Fame. McDavid is being honored along with comedian Rick Mercer, retired Supreme Court Justice Rosalie Abella, and the Degrassi TV franchise. How about that? The induction ceremony will take place December 2nd in Toronto. This sports update is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. Enter to win a movie night out at Landmark Cinemas for movie lovers only. In theaters now, the Super Mario Brothers movie in Landmark Cinemas right now. While working underground to fix a water main, Brooklyn plumbers Mario and brother Luigi are transported down a mysterious pipe and wander into a magical new world. Follow their adventures in the Super Mario Brothers movie in theaters now, Landmark Cinemas. Paul Hendrick joins us next to chat Leafs Panthers. We're live from Ace Casino Airport on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE, and streaming.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We're back live at Ace Casino Airport, Calgary. By the way, happy hour every day, 2 till 5 p.m., 25% off appetizers, and $5.25 domestic beer and highballs. Okay, woosah, slowing things down. Thank you, Clark, for that note, and I apologize. Rarely is the time, as you know, Kevin, that I'm Mr. Social. But seriously, that's what we have these people for. But now's a good time to get to all of your questions that have come in because we have a board full of them. But Tim Hunter's wife was here, and I'd never met her before. So I jumped out of my seat. I said, I got to thank you for all the time that you've allotted us with your husband. And she's driving him around because he had hip surgery and said how great Calgary's been to us and the Flames alumni and the Hunter family. I wanted to thank her. And then I get back in the chair and find out that Paul Hendrick is not available. Or what is he can't get connected, Clark, or have you not been able to? Okay. They're trying, let's put it that way. So again, gives me time. I now have somehow the 902 text line working. We had our whole team on it today, and we got it fixed. 902-518-3033. So from Carter. What's up, Clark? Okay, Carter says Wheeler's bus ticket has been bought already. Bad captain, bad teammate. By Sean in Vancouver regarding Leafs fans trying to buy tickets in Florida but can't because they're not U.S. residents or Florida residents. Sean says, can everyone stay at your place in Florida too, Rod? No. And Larry says, Rod, do you have thoughts on John Murphy returning to the Argos and Jim Barker having to work with TSN again? Or leaving to work with you? I'll get to that next segment because we have Paul Hendrick now. Henny tweets. Paul, thank you, man. Were you just clapping? It looked like you were clapping. Were you clapping at the Leafs making round 2? Dude, it's exciting.
Hey, Rod, normally at this time of year, it is doom and gloom, and what are we going to do with free agency? And there's just a natural sense of insecurity amongst Leafs Nation. And that was all just shedded, 2 nights ago. And then you combine that with Boston losing to Florida, and I don't think there was a better double whammy for Leafs Nation to have the Bruins go out and have their team stay in than what we saw over the course of the last 48 hours.
Well, I just with Tim Hunter here, and as you would know him well, he has 3 seasons as the Leafs assistant coach. I said, has this celebration from the Leafs Nation been over the top? And he's like, no, good for them. It's a lot of waiting coming out, right? But how's the team dealing with it? We see what the fans and the media are saying. What's the team's reaction been, Paul?
I think this is a confident hockey club, Rod. They're a third different from the club that, failed last season in 7 games. There's 8 guys differently on this team, and all with exception of the other night of Lafferty and Zach Aston Reese, who didn't start, who are starting for the club. So it's just a confident hockey team. It's a balanced hockey team. I think it's the best balanced hockey club they've seen since the Pat Quinn era 20 years ago. And you know, you look at how good they were from the net on out. I mean, Eddie Belfour and Cujo, you can arguably are better than Ilya Samsonov. But this team up front, lines 1 through 4, just outstanding. And I think the defensive pairings and the depth that go with it just make it a confident hockey club. So they're not looking ahead. I think they've welcomed the expectations that are. And given the club that Kyle Dubas has provided Sheldon Keefe, they should be happy with those expectations, knowing that they've got a chance to win most nights out.
It's interesting you say that, not looking ahead. Let's look back for a second. How would you explain what happened in Game 1 then against Tampa, the 7-2 loss? Like, what happened? Because then they just got fire after that.
Yeah, they did. Maybe that's exactly what they needed. I think they were an uptight group. And let's be honest, over the course of a long season, not every game is going to be a gem. And it was a dog's breakfast. And they rallied in the following game. And then you throw those 2 games out because they're mirror images of each other. And then the series got down to it. And you could argue that Tampa should have won this series in 5 games. They certainly dominated games 3 and 4. But Toronto found a way to win. And I know Mike Babcock was always talking about where this team was in its development, and they had to find a way to win. And that was going to mean many years of heartbreak, certainly a bit under his rule. And by losing, you learn from it. And I think this club, at least its core group, has learned from it. And then you add players like Ryan O'Reilly and Luke Shen and others, and they're prepared. I mean, the optics could have been so very different. But this club found a way. Now they're into the second round. And I'm seeing sort of similarities with the Montreal Canadiens run back in '93 when a lot of the big teams got beaten out and Montreal just won a series of overtime games and 1-goal contests, and all of a sudden found themselves in a situation where they were in a position to win a Stanley Cup and did. And boy, oh boy, that could have been a Toronto-Montreal Stanley Cup year. And what I would give and this nation would give to see an Edmonton-Toronto Stanley Cup final, way beyond where we should be talking now. But when you're a Leaf fan, perhaps an Oiler fan, it's nice to dream.
I think it's okay to talk about. It's okay for you and me to talk about it, or the fans to talk about it. I mean, there are those that legitimately say Gary Bettman and the NHL head office want an Edmonton-Toronto series. Do you believe that? Are you in that camp?
I'm not certain about that. I think it'd be great for hockey. We've just been starved north of the border. I know you've been in the States a long time now, at least the last couple of years, and we need a Stanley Cup back here in Canada. I don't know why it hasn't happened. I think the Leafs are in great position to do it. I think Edmonton now with Colorado going out are in great position in which to do it. It's going to be a hell of a series with Vegas. And if their goaltending is steady enough and their defense is good enough, obviously they've got enough skill up front to get the job done, and they're due. And I think it'd be just fantastic for both cities. So, you know, conspiracy theories or not, I'm not sure about that. But I think we're in a position now that the teams on the individual rosters have given each city a chance to think that an all-Canada Stanley Cup final is a very definite possibility.
And listen, look at the franchise values. These are 2 iconic franchises. Forget about the border, the nationality. It's Toronto, Edmonton, man. They sell merch. They get ratings on both. The LA Kings could be in the Stanley Cup final, and they don't care in Southern California. So why would we want that? You know what, Henny? Let's just pray that it happens and see where it goes from there. But, by the way, Tim Hunter just said, I asked him, what's different with this Leafs team? And he said, he said it's confidence. And I just want to put that to you. Right. Do you see that? That's the difference from this team and past Leafs teams?
Oh, without a doubt. And if I'm head coach Sheldon Keefe and I look out, I mean, there was a bit of a problem with the fourth line, which has been so steady and strong, but he had alternatives. You've got enough depth on the blue line to be able to go with 7 defensemen and 11 forwards as they did in Game 6. And they've got Luke Shen. Let's be honest, Sam Bennett and Tkachuk Matthew, they're going to be an armful for this Toronto Maple
Leafs. We lost the sound. I don't know what happened there. Well, we got enough out of Henny, let's put it that way. Clark, would you mind sending him our regards and thanking him for his time? And I don't know why it cut off. We got him back. Okay, unfortunately, Henny, we lost like the last 30 seconds of what you said. Can you wrap it before we go to break with your thoughts on that? Sorry. No, we're done. We got to go, Clark. Yeah. Okay, we're going to come back with overtime and answer all of your questions. Now's the time. 902-518-3033, okay? That's the number to text us right here in the Ace Casino Airport studio or on the streams. You can write us in the YouTube chat as well. We will be right back to Ace and Hotel Clique Calgary Airport after this final timeout on Game Plus Television, WQEE, and streaming.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is overtime. It's brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Hockey League. And as you have a look at Hotel Clique Calgary Airport, bear with me, everybody, having a few computer issues here today. That's on me. That's on me. Woody's RV World presents the summer football road trip hosted by the RPShow and Engelheim Tours and Hotel Clique Calgary Airport. That's right. Huh? The summer football road trip hosted by the RPShow, presented by Woody's RV World. It includes charter transportation from Engelheim Tours, June 23rd from Regina to Calgary, returning on Sunday, June 25th, in between 2 nights accommodations here at Hotel Clique Calgary Airport with complimentary breakfast each day. Exclusive pre- and post-game parties, ta-da, at the Ace Casino Sports Bar, right to my left. And a ticket to Saskatchewan, Calgary at McMosaic Stadium on June 24th. Did you like how I said that, Kevin? McMosaic Stadium, because we're going to turn it green with Woody's RV World. And the what? You've never seen that side of me, have you? It's the side in Calgary they didn't particularly like for the longest time, but we're going to fill that place with Rider fans. We got to sell out 1 bus, maybe 2 buses. There's a look right there. Woody's RV World. Summer football road trip. Huh? Dig it! 902-518-3033 is the number to text us right now with your questions and comments. There have been multiple people writing in today asking my thoughts on John Murphy rejoining the Toronto Argonauts. So, I talked to Murph yesterday. He's very excited about coming back into the CFL. I don't know what's been reported officially, what hasn't been reported. I was watching the East Final 2 years ago. I was watching from an Outback Steakhouse in Lighthouse Point, Florida. And I saw John Murphy slap a Ticats fan. And then there was the slur that was caught on video. That's all I'll say. So Murph being a friend, me being a proponent of second chances, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you without second, third, fourth, and fifth chances. I'm glad to have Murph back in the league. I'm also a supporter of the LGBT community. That's what the alleged slur was about. I say alleged because I don't know what's been reported and what hasn't. I'm happy Murph's back. I hope incidents like this in your life change you. And this changed Murph for the better. That's all I can say. Bravo Argos, bravo CFL, bravo Murph for coming back. Let's hope that this smartened him up, because there was a point in my life I needed smartening up, but guess what? I smartened up. So that's my take on it. I'd love to know yours. And the question was from Larry Sweet. He is down in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He had the question, and Wayne in Victoria, BC asked the same thing. Jeff in Edmonton has written in, and he says, hey, Rod, is there a ticket option for those of us already in Alberta to attend your events in June? What's the people that don't need the bus? They're already in Alberta, but they want to sit with us. We can sell them tickets? Yes, we can. Click on the link. It's $150, and they can stay overnight. Okay, I'm not Ticketmaster. So, rodpeterson.com. Let's talk after, okay? I'm the host. I'm not the business guy. Jeff is watching in Winnipeg, Manitoba. He writes in and says, Toronto is number 1 and Edmonton is number 3 in the world as cities in the world producing the most NHL players. Montreal's number 2, Winnipeg 4th. Why do we care? You know who's 10th per capita? Regina, Saskatchewan.
How about that?
Twisted Mike writes in. Where did it go? Twisted Mike. On the 902 line. He says, Boston losing the Leafs have a better chance getting to the final. Edmonton has a good shot, too, since the Avalanche got eliminated. Rod, it could be an all-Canadian Stanley Cup final. Yeah, he wrote that in before we had on Henny. So, again, we're going to have Serena on by the end of the week. Her and I, you should hear our arguments on this. She says the NHL head office and Gary Bettman are anti-Canada. And that's not to say she's wrong. I'm just saying I haven't necessarily seen that, and I don't necessarily want to believe that. But it's fun to debate. The nice thing is we don't argue about it, but we talk about these things. And as I said to Henny, it's two iconic franchises forget where they are. Because I'll tell you what, FLA Live Arena and Sunrise is full when the Oilers come to town, and the Leafs come to town, and the Habs come to town. And isn't that a very fun story that the Panthers are blocking any non-Florida residents from buying tickets to the game? I think it's just fantastic. Leafs fans don't. But this is a funny thing heading into games 3 and 4 in Sunrise. Quick sports update. The New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils have the NHL spotlight to themselves tonight as they play Game 7 to finish off the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Rangers staved off elimination by winning Game 6 at home 5-2 Saturday night. Tonight's winner will play the Metropolitan Division champion Carolina Hurricanes in round 2. The Toronto Blue Jays, who won 2 of 3 games against the visiting Seattle Mariners on the weekend, improved their record to 18-10, open a 4-game series on the road tonight against the 15-14 Boston Red Sox. Righty Jose Barrios will start on the mound for Toronto, while the Red Sox counter with righty Corey Kluber. Sports Update is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In theaters now, Renfield. In this modern monster tale of Dracula's loyal servant, Nicholas Hoult stars as Renfield, the tortured aide to history's most narcissistic boss, Dracula, played by Nicolas Cage. Renfield is forced to procure his master's prey and do his every bidding, but now, after centuries of servitude, Renfield is ready to see if there's a life outside the shadow of the Prince of Darkness. If only he can figure out how to end his codependency. Renfield, in theaters now, Landmark Cinemas. Thanks for playing. And thank you for tuning in, everybody. It's been a fun show. Kevin the Medium writes in. He says he's sitting 20 feet from me, 15 feet maybe. He says you can purchase either a full trip package or game package. Game package includes invites to the pre- and post-game parties plus tickets for 2. Click on the banner at rodpeterson.com. Yeah. Thank you, Tim Hunter. Thank you, Paul Hendrick. Thank you to our entire team. Thank you, Amanda Tanya. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Who has more fun than us?